This is Innovation Fixation, a series featuring local inventors showcasing the future of technology in our community.
Welcome to Innovation Fixation. I'm Joe Touger, attorney and guest host, and with me today is Lynn Morris, inventor of the rolling dance chair. Welcome, Lynn. Tell us about the rolling dance chair.
Well, the rolling dance chair was actually developed quite a long time ago. I started working on this project in 2005, so it's been a 10-year passion, and my interest was in looking at new approach to wheelchair design from a dance lens and looking at it specifically from a creative perspective and an expressive perspective. I was working with dancers with and without disabilities in a company here in Florida, Revolutions Dance, and also the chair came out of my own personal caregiving experience as a caregiver. But I just started looking at the ways in which most of the chairs the individuals I was working with were either manual chairs or regular power chairs. And those chairs either had a fixed, hand control, joystick control, or the individuals held the wheels to use the chair, and started thinking a lot about how could the control system really be changed in some manner so that the individual could just simply lean or move subtly in the chair and their arms would be freed up, their upper body would be freed up to interact and work with other dancers. So I really started thinking about the control, started thinking about even lighting effects and different kinds of movement possibilities in general for the chair in connection with the dancer's body. So that's kind of how the project came about. With that motivation, I initially approached the engineering department at USF, and we did some early collaborations, and then it moved forward from there. And this existing prototype that kind of integrates everything was developed over the past couple of years, really working intensely with two companies, one in Florida, one in California. Two individuals specifically, Neil Edmonston and Mark Rumsey, have worked with me as collaborators on this project, and we've gotten it to this point now where it kind of integrates all of these ideas.
Now, is the chair available for the consumers to purchase, or is it still more in the design phase?
It's still in the research and development phase, although we really do have a patented, good working prototype right now that I think in its next iteration will be sort of commercially ready or product ready, and we're trying to make it as robust as possible. And now I have actually two companies from the wheelchair industry on board with me, and we're moving forward with that. So I think it has a lot of future potential to move into the commercialization phase. I'm working with Quantum Rehab, which is a subsidiary of Pride Mobility, and also working with National Seating and Mobility, and they will be helping to supply sort of the wheelchair industry perspective, and may be interested in potentially licensing it. So that's kind of where it is right now.
Now, your background is in dance, is that right?
Mm-hmm,
okay.
Mm-hmm.
And dance and wheelchair design don't always seem to be two subjects that people link in their minds. What was the inspiration to bring together wheelchair design with your background in dance?
I think the first thing was I was working with dancers with and without disabilities in a company. So mixed ability dance is something that I think the general public is starting to see more of. They are seeing, even in popular shows, seeing individuals with disabilities dance. But it has grown slowly, started in about the 80s. But there are companies all over. Access Dance Company is one of the most well-known in California. There's outside of the US as well. And so these companies are really exploring disability in really unique ways and the devices in really unique ways, and really, from a dance perspective, we're kind of movement experts. We're kinesthetic experts, and we really play with the nuances of movement, the movement qualities, and really get into those things. So having that background, having that base in movement experience, really sort of prompted this notion of how else could this wheelchair really be more responsive to other dancers? How could it be lighter? How, there's dancers who want to do somersaults in their wheelchairs. There's dancers who want to go aerial in their wheelchairs. Just like in sports, you have racing chairs, you have tennis chairs, etc. So this was just saying, okay, how do we branch into a dance perspective with this, but also seeing the application to daily living. And for me, it's always been kind of a concurrent motivation in that I've seen the application in dance and wanted to to explore it and dance, but also from my personal caregiving experience, my father was injured in a severe car accident, and he had a brain injury and a lot of physical bodily complications. He used a number of different wheelchairs, and from that experience, which was 21 years, my mom and I, learned a lot about just working with devices and the complications, just the ease or not ease of getting from place to place, and this is one reason why individuals with disabilities a lot of times historically have not gone outside, have stayed inside, because mobility devices or the things that are supposed to allow a person to partake in society are not there for them yet. So looking at new ways of designing is really important.
Well, it's great that the dance was the inspiration, but is it limited only to dancers with disabilities, or can the chair have a broader application to other disabled people that would like to be more physically active?
Absolutely can have a broader application. I'll briefly tell you, the chair is controlled via smartphone at this point, so it's a wireless control, and so a caregiver or the person in the chair can easily control the chair by tilting the phone forward, back, side, or diagonal. The chair is omnidirectional, so it moves in every direction besides forward and back and turning. And what we've done also is wear the wireless control. So experimenting, and as things are made smaller and smaller, there's more potential for this to really come to fruition. Lean forward, lean back, go back, side, rotate. So subtle movements of the body could allow the chair to move. So in that respect, the chair basically encourages social interaction, encourages interpersonal interaction, and also increases some spatial access and spatial possibilities. So that would be relevant for even a daily living situation where you just need to multitask with your arms, and you may not be dance necessarily, but you may be just in that kind of a situation, or a social dance frame, or even a sport of some sort, recreational experience, and also could be useful in a rehabilitation situation where you're trying to regain core muscle activation or something like that, and the chair could potentially prompt that.
Well, it sounds like you've really thought through so many of the potential applications of the chair, and I guess the big question is, when can we as consumers be ready to see it come to market?
So I hope as soon as possible, of course. I am, like I said, the most recent thing is I'm working with these two wheelchair companies, NSM and Quantum Mobility, and that really has potential to move this forward in a commercial way. So, of course, I'm always looking for funding, and there's an easy way to donate through the USF Foundation. Just type in Rolling Dance Chair Project and my page will come up. So I'm always looking for funding, applying for grants and that kind of thing to develop this product into the most effective product possible. I've had a lot of individuals with disabilities test the chair, give feedback. I think bringing multiple perspectives to the table is so important. The artist, the dancer, the engineer, the technician, the people with disabilities of multiple kinds. That's what makes a good product, and that's what I'm trying to do is do it in a really smart way, so that we come up with
sounds like you're
useful.
Succeeding. And tell us one more time, how do people get in contact with you or find out more about your project?
To get in contact with me, you can email me at mmorris3@usf.edu, or go to my blogspot, Arts and Disability blogspot. Those would be the best ways probably, but just to get in direct contact with me, and then I can send information on the chair, let people know where it's at. I'm always happy to connect with individuals interested in it and hear from people. So.
Well, Marilyn, thank you so much, and thank you for coming to Innovation Fixation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you'd like to be featured on Tampa Bay Community Network, please call 813-977-5200 or visit tbcn.org.